Yeah, so good morning to all of you again, and welcome to this Sunday's edition of the talk on the Yoga Sutras. As I was telling Deepak that today's scheduled talk is on networking, but there has been some, I would say, some kind of a revelation for me, some kind of a blessed discovery for me, which I have shared with two, three people I'm very close to, and it seems to have had a good impact on them also. So I would like to share that same today with you all, and hope that you also are able to understand and get the same kind of benefit which I have experienced. Now, since we have Anshuman also here, and Suchita is joining. Anshuman is very familiar with I would say, the Yoga Sutras and also with the Sankhya Darshan. Anshuman, can you put on your video, please? Possible?
I'll start, sir. Just a minute.
Okay. So while you are starting, will it be possible for you to just give a brief about Sankhya Darshan and the four stages of the mind? Or should I do it and then probably I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions on that, you know?
Sir, I think if you can share it, maybe it will be beneficial for all of us.
Okay. You see, as per the Sankhya Darshan, which was written by Kapila Muni, he has given us the uh, 25 tattvas, 25, you can say, elements, principles of this creation. And the major factor there is on the chitta. Chitta is the comprehensive mind. And the chitta has four grades of mind. So this is something which is quite known to people who are familiar with yogic literature, familiar with the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, familiar with Sankhya Darshan. Now, what has happened here is that these four states of the mind are called the Mool Prakriti, the Mahat, the Ahankara, and the Manas. So these are four different stages of the mind. And here the mind behaves in a different way. When the mind is in Mool Prakriti stage, then it is not showing any particular behavior. Here, all the forces of nature are equal. If you look at the gunas of nature like sattva, rajas, and tamas, they are in some sort of an equilibrium. The second stage is where the mahatattva, the biggest principle, the biggest element, the most guiding element takes place. That is the Mahat. It is the first manifestation of Prakriti. This is also called Linga. Linga means it is a kind of a symbolic nature of the mind, kind of a conceptual nature of the mind. This gives rise to the third stage of the mind, which is called Ahankara. In Ahankara, the doership comes. In Ahankara, the activity starts, the ego starts, the individual nature starts. And in the fourth is the Manas. Manas is where the mind is active and it is connected to the sense organs. The input sense organs and the output sense organs. So, Manas is mind which is at the interface of the Chitta and the Jagat, the world outside, through the senses, through the sense organs. Now, if you look at the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, you will find that we are attempting to go back to the original state from where we have come. We are born in the body, we are born in the world, and we have certain activities in the world, but we are attempting to go back. How do we go back? We go back by using vairagya, detachment from this jagat, from this world. Second, we go back by practicing concentration, by doing an abhyas of concentration. And third method of going back is through Ishvara Pranidhana, where you are surrendering yourself to one pointedness of the Ishvara. And when you are practicing concentration, then you are moving through four stages of the mind. You are moving from the Vitarka to the Vichara to the Sa-Ananda and further on to the Asmitta. Now, if you have any questions, you may ask, because I have used quite a bit of yogic terms and Sankhya terms, So if you have any questions, you may ask. I will try to draw a diagram and explain it to you in a day-to-day language. And then you will be astounded by what we will connect with. Okay. So is it clear, or should I, make a diagram and explain it to all of you? Okay, since people are not responding, let me, yeah?
Sir, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so a diagram will be easy to understand.
You could not resist that.
Yeah. No, what you say is true also, no? Quite
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
to
it is,
catch up.
it is.
It matters. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Let me just change the format of this presentation. Okay, and let me see if I can pin myself. Okay, right. So I go to screen sharing. Okay, and I'm sure many of you will be surprised when you look at this. You might have questions, and then I will answer all questions, and we will see how do you feel once you realize what I'm telling you. Okay. Now, you see, I have always been intrigued by the usage of the words Purusha and Prakriti by Sankhya. Okay. He says that the Purusha and the Prakriti come together, and that is how the creation starts. And then he says, so all human sorrow is because of the Purusha and the Prakriti coming together. So liberation from sorrow will happen when the Purusha separates from the Prakriti. Now, let me tell you a few things. Okay. Let me draw first here. As I was telling you, there are four stages. Okay. So let's say this is the first stage of the mind. This is the second stage of the mind. This is the third stage of the mind. And this is the fourth stage of the mind. Now, if we look at ourselves, who we are, then you will be surprised when I tell you that the unmanifested Prakriti is actually the ovum in the mother's womb. Okay, so if I write this as this section as Mool Prakriti, This also means unmanifested Prakriti. It has not taken any shape, size, color apart from its basic nature. And if I tell you that this is the ovum in the mother's womb, now this ovum is getting fertilized. So you can say that this portion here is the fertilized egg. This is the fertilized ovum. And this element is the Mahat. And this Mahat is also, let me put it here, in yogic parlance, Ananda state, or it is called the Sa Ananda state. Sa Ananda state. And this stage in yogic parlance is called the Asmitta stage. And this stage is called the Vichara stage. And this state is called the Vitarka state. In English terminology, this is called the conscious mind. This is called the subconscious mind. This is called the unconscious mind. These three terms have been used by Freud: conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind. The rishis called this the Jagrat Avastha. They called this the Swapna Avastha. And they called this the Nidra Avastha. And they called this the Turiya Avastha. Okay. So on the top, you have the Vedic names for those four stages of mind: Jagrat, Swapna, Nidra, Turiya. Just below that, you have Freud's states of mind: conscious mind, subconscious mind, and unconscious mind. The fourth mind they were not aware of. The Western psychologists are not aware of the fourth mind. Patanjali uses the terms Vitarka, Vichara, Sananda, Asmita. And these four are called These four are called. Are you guys there with me? Are you following what I'm writing? Or if you have questions, you can ask. Huh?
Yes, sir, we are following, sir.
Okay. So this is called Sabij. And These four are Sabij. Okay, now below here you have the language from Sankhya. So this is Mahat, this is Ahankara, and this is Manas. Okay, and you here, let me just move this somewhat separately. Okay, let me take it somewhere else. Yeah. Now, here you have the ovum, the fertilized ovum, and then birth. And then the mind forms. So let us look at a baby. Let us look at a baby. And here, before the ovum, you have the sperm. So now what happens? The sperm has life, has consciousness. It has motion. It has rajas. It is not always present. Only at the time of sex, only when the right time is there, the sperm moves. So this sperm is the Purush, and this ovum is the Prakriti. That is why these names, Purush and Prakriti. And when they come together, that is the state of Ananda. That is the state of Mahat. The first manifestation has happened. That is the state of the fertilized ovum. So when you are just the ovum, you are there, but you will not manifest into a baby. So you are Mool Prakriti. You are in equilibrium. All the gunas of nature are in equilibrium. Nothing is changing as such. It is only when the fertilization takes place, when the Mahat happens, that is when Sa Ananda Samadhi takes place. So this fertilized ovum inside is growing. It is growing subconsciously because there is no conscious mind. So you will see till birth, the baby is growing subconsciously. And when the baby is completely grown, that time the doership comes. It forces its way out of the mother's womb. It can even kill the mother while it is coming out. That is the extent of doership. It wants to come out, that's all. And when it comes out, then is the next phase of the mind. When it comes out, now what happens? Now it has no mind. It does not know who it is, what it is doing in the world out there, or is there a world out there? What is the purpose? So it starts collecting information. This information which it collects becomes the conscious mind. And it collects that information through the five senses. And that becomes the conscious mind, that becomes the Jagrata mind, that becomes the reasoning mind. Vitarka means the reasoning mind. That becomes the mind of survival. And that becomes the Manas, which interacts with the senses and collects knowledge and performs action. So there are essentially four forms of mind. And all these four forms of mind are different. One is the mind when you are an ovum. Second stage of the mind is when you are a fertilized egg. Third stage of the mind is when you are having birth. The doership is there, complete. The ego is there. The ahankara is there. Ahankara means I am the doer. So that doership starts. And the fourth is when it is out in the world and it is collecting knowledge, collecting information. And that collecting knowledge, collecting information is forming the conscious mind. So these are the four types of minds we have. When we are born, we are thrown into the world with the fourth mind, with the manas, with the conscious mind, with the jagrat mind, with the reasoning mind, with the vitarka mind. And then there, yoga says you have to go back. So you practice the samadhi of vitarka, nirvitarka, then you practice vichara, nirvichara, then you practice sananda, then you practice asmita, and all these four are sub-bij. Why is it called sub-bij? Because the seed is still there, the ovum is there. Ovum, fertilized ovum, grown up ovum, ovum grown up out in the world. It is only when you go beyond the ovum to the sperm stage, there is no egg. So that is called nirbij samadhi. That state of mind is nirbij. So here you have nirbij. Any questions? किसी को
Yes, I have Sanjay. I have a
Sir, what
question,
is the
Sanjay.
revelation you were talking about, sir?
Sorry?
So, what is the revelation you were talking about at the beginning of the class? That
The revelation is that when you meditate, that you are going back, bringing your mind to the conscious mind, going to the subconscious mind, going into the Sa-ananda mind, going into the Asmita mind, or you imagine that you're going back in time. You are becoming smaller and smaller in size, and your mind is slowly losing knowledge. And then you are back in the mother's womb, and then you are slowly reducing in size and becoming the ovum, fertilized ovum, and then you imagine, visualize, meditate that the sperm has come out of that ovum. And that point, when you are able to take it out, is the point of liberation. Because then the cause of human birth is removed. And this whole creation is based on cause and effect. So if you are able to remove the primary cause, you are able to, in a way, remove pressure from your mind. You see, in healing, in psychiatric healing or even psychological healing, in psychotherapy, they ask you to go to a mind in the past and do some cleaning there. And when you do that cleaning there, your present becomes improved. So here, when you are going back into your babyhood, into your birth, into that fertilized ovum, into that differentiation of the mother's womb and the father's sperm, then you are free to think something else there. So that is the womb of creation. Now, if you think something else there, then you are implanting that seed, that thought as seed in that womb of creation. And eventually that thought will turn into a physical thing in your world outside. And it will have an immediate impact on your thought because you are in a chain of cause and effect. So if you are traveling in time, traveling in mind, which you can, and are changing the past, you are changing the present. So now what I am saying here is the yogis who got siddhis, they were able to concentrate and go back to the starting point and change the seed there, because of which they were able to do supernormal things. They could walk on water, they could fly in the air, they could do many, many supernormal things because they changed the seed at the very beginning of their creation by going back in time and making that change. So this is the revelation. And when you do this meditation, you will see the effect of what I'm telling you. When I did it the first time, I actually fell deeply asleep for more than 2 hours. Could not get up, could not open my eyes. And one of my students who was doing a class on moksha, when he did it, he had a feeling of true bliss, as if he was out of the body also, you know. So this is something I would like you to experience. Close your eyes, go into that state, go back, go back, go back, and then come out, separate the sperm and the ovum from which you were born, and then see what happens. This is probably what Sankhya talks about. This is probably what the Purusha and the Prakriti being separated is what Kapil Muni talks about. And that is why there is no God in Sankhya, because God has no role to play. It is only what happened between our fathers and mother that has put us into this life. And because we have been born human, we will have sorrow. So the only way to remove that sorrow is go back, mentally disengage, and put something else in its place if you want to have extra normal powers. So this is the gist which I am talking about today. Yeah. Now, if you have questions, you may ask.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
So when the sperm and the ovum unites, embryo is formed and the body starts. But then, sir, it is said that the soul is transferred to the body, and then that journey starts. Now, sir, when you are saying that you separate the soul and the sperm and the ovum.
No, hang on. You see, I am talking purely in terms of what the yogic philosophy says, what the Sankhya philosophy says, and what we know from science. All three of them, okay, all three of them do not talk of the soul. The yoga does not talk of soul. The Sankhya does not talk of soul. It merely defines an element, a state, that's all. And once when you are independent, in the end, it talks about Kevalya. Both the Sankhya Darshan and the Yoga Darshan talk about Kevalya. Kevalya means being all alone. They do not talk about moksha. They do not talk about nirvana. They merely say he is alone. Both of them. Okay. So when you say it is said soul comes, it is not from these two philosophies. It is not from science.
So, sir, actually, concept of soul we should not consider actually when we are doing this.
Yeah, because this is purely experiential. This is purely scientific, and it has got nothing to do with any religion. It has got nothing to do with any Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Christianity, or even Islam. All of us are going through the same process, and all of us have an ovum, have a sperm, have a fertilized ovum, have birth, and have a mind which is formed outside. So these stages represent milestones in the development of the mind, in the change of the state of mind. And what does Patanjali say? Patanjali says yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. The modifications have to be stopped. So these are the modifications. These are the four modifications. Ovum, fertilized ovum, birth, and the body with the mind getting formed. Are you getting me? or is it too difficult to comprehend?
Sir, it is a bit fuzzy in terms of the the different concepts. If you just focus on the concept of Purush and Prakriti, then it sounds plausible, but otherwise difficult to experience actually, sir.
Okay, so what I will tell you now is, do not go by all that terminology. Okay, that terminology has been given to just to prove that whether you are from the Vedic age, or whether you are from the modern scientific age, or whether you are from the yogic age of Patanjali, or whether you are from the post-Vedic age of Kapila Muni. All of them are speaking of something which we experience. We know that there is a sperm, there is an ovum, there is a fertilization, there is growth of the baby is born, and then the baby develops a mind outside. And this is true for all living species. It is just not true for human beings. It is true for all living species who have this way of production, production of a new life form. So what I am suggesting here is just close your eyes for around 10-15 minutes and go back in mind. Imagine and visualize. Let me just close this share for a while, okay?
Can I get my question? I have a question. Can I put it now?
हाँ, पूछ लीजिए आप एक बार.
No, my question is this birth, we have started from ovum, fertilized ovum, and taken birth, and now we have a mind of our own.
Yeah.
But earlier, in some earlier birth, we have picked up some karmas, which are still with us, and we have developed some more karmas in this birth also. When we are going back, where do we lose our karmas? Where do we get rid of them?
Okay, you have asked a good question. In this diagram, or in this flow chart, or in this flow of life, the earlier karma is not playing a role the way we know it to play in our Indian philosophy. Okay, here it is simply saying there could be millions of sperms. One sperm comes, fertilizes the egg, and the state of the mind of the ovum changes. First, I am in an ovum state for probably 10, 15, 20 days. And then I am in a fertilized egg stage any moment. And then I am in the subconscious mind stage. My mind is just growing subconsciously. My body is just growing subconsciously. And I am developing a sense of doership. And towards the end, when I have that complete doership, I force my way out of the mother's womb and I take birth. And when I take birth, I realize that I have an empty mind. So I start collecting information. Now, all these four states are states of mind. First is the ovum state for 15, 20, 25 days till the fertilization. The second, there might be no fertilization also. So in that case, the ovum dies.
Yes, true.
Now we are assuming that this ovum is getting fertilized. So the second stage comes. And then the third stage comes. And then the fourth stage comes. I have always wondered why there are four stages of mind. When different people over hundreds and thousands of centuries or hundreds and thousands of years have been perceiving it across different education systems, different time zones, why are we coming to four again and again? So it is four because there are four milestones in our birth. One is the ovum, that is one milestone. Second is the fertilized ovum, that is the second milestone. Third is the birth, that is the third milestone. And fourth is the formation of the mind outside, which continues. So, so that is the fourth milestone. And these are the four states of mind. And these four states of mind are undergoing modification. The first modification happens in the ovum. The second modification happens in the fertilized ovum. The third modification happens while the subconscious mind is growing. And the fourth modification continues outside. And Patanjali says, you see, now if you look at his vrittis, he says yoga, chitta, vritti nirodha. You have to stop the vritti. He's not saying subdue the vritti, slow the vritti. He's saying stop. And what? The modification. And why does he want the modification to stop? Because he says yoga will happen. People say that is not yoga, that is viyog. The Purusha and the Prakriti actually separate out when liberation happens. So when they are separating out, that means you are diffusing life. Life is got formed out of fusion, has been diffused. So the cause of all sorrow is life. That is why Nanak said, Nanak dukhiya sab sansar. Everybody is unhappy here. You may be a Buddha, you may be a Mahavir, you may be a Jesus Christ, you may be anybody. You will be unhappy here. And then you can only be happy as per Sankhya when the Purusha and the Prakriti are separated out. And as per Yoga, when the Purusha and Prakriti are separated out. So in Sankhya, they do the separation by knowledge. They say, we have told you this, now you separate out. And the people have always complained, why did Kapila Muni not give a method of how to do it, the separation? Because it is not needed. And then people say, why did Kapila Muni not talk about God? God has no role to play here. And why has Patanjali spoken about concentration? Because Patanjali has said you have to concentrate. When you concentrate, then you go deep. And when you go deep, you concentrate again, you go deeper. So to go back from the world to the origin point, the method is concentration. Go deep, go deep, go deep. So there are 4 stages of concentration, which Patanjali has spoken about. They are vitarka, which is when you have a reasonable mind, a mind of reasoning in the world outside. Second is vichara, which is the subconscious mind, the mind of reflection. And once when you cross these 2, you reach a state of ananda. And that ananda is where the fertilization is taking place. So when the 2 opposite forces, male, female, 2 opposite energies are coming together, they are dancing together in joy. That is why the ananda happens. That is why we are constantly craving for ananda, because we have moved away from ananda. And that is why all samadhi, all meditation, all concentration practices have happiness, peace of mind, silence, stillness as a major factor, because they slowly, steadily bring you to ananda. Okay. Now when you come to Asmitta, Asmitta means, Asmi means me. It is I-ness. And that is the ovum. When you are looking at the ovum, that is what you truly are. It is only the sperm which comes and triggers the motion, the action, the development inside the ovum. So that Asmitta, that Mool Prakriti, that unmanifested Prakriti, that ovum, that Turiya, they are all similar terms meaning the same thing. And that is what we need to understand. We need to understand that moksha is not some rocket distance away. You close your eyes, go back into your mother's womb, go back, take out the sperm, and then you will feel a sense of relief. You will feel a sense of relaxation. You will feel a sense of bliss. You will feel as if a big burden has come off you. So I'm sharing my experience. I'm saying you try it out. And this is the moksha which I'm talking about. You know, every Hindu is supposed to experience moksha. After what? After doing his dharma, after fulfilling his desires, after earning all sorts of money. It is after dharma, artha, kama that you go in for moksha. So but now you perform the reverse journey and separate out. And put your mind at peace. Put your mind at ease. Relax. You see, we have the power to change our mind by going into a mind and planting a new seed. And because of that seed thing, it is called sabij and nirbij. in my view. Otherwise, I was not able to understand why is he talking about Sabij? Why is he talking about Nirbij? Where is the seed? What seed is being spoken about? So this is the seed. The ovum is the seed he's talking about. And that is why this system has no God. But this system does not say there is no existence of God. He's not talking about God because it is not needed. He is explaining a human creation. He's telling this is how you come out. You develop five senses of action, five senses of knowledge, and you have the five gross elements outside. And then he explains the whole creation to you. Yeah, any more questions? Because I'm sure many of you would be wondering what I'm talking about here. You're free to ask questions. Let me tell you, this is a big thing. If you think about it, you will realize. If you go back into your mind, you will realize what I'm talking about.
As I understand, Kapila Muni and Patanjali both said matter with same essence of matter, but only in different methods. And Patanjali uses another method, somehow concentrate and then go out of your concentration. Whereas our Kapila Muni says just deconcentrate and go into your past existence and remove your seed.
No. Kapila Muni simply says, I am presenting before you the complete knowledge. And that is why it is called Sankhya. Sankhya means complete knowledge, or a knowledge which can be counted in numbers. So he has got 25 elements. It is countable. Okay. So it is a knowledge, it is a system based on knowledge. And Patanjali's yoga is based on action, where you have to actually sit and concentrate. Sit and detach yourself from the world by your action. Okay, so these are the two essential differences, but the underlying theory is the same in both.
True. The way it's explained is a little different, but essentially it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I will just, I do not know how many of you are here at this moment. There are 7 participants. Okay. So what we can do is we can have a meditation of 10-15 minutes, experiencing this. Each one of you go through your own individual experience, and imagine that you are, shrinking into becoming small, a baby, going into the mother's womb, going into the fertilized egg, and then separating out. Just do this experience, visualization, meditation, whatever you want to call it, for 10-15 minutes. I'm sure you'll understand what I'm talking about here. Yes, Sanjay?
A part of us is also the sperm, and the part of us is also the ovum. So once we go back to that embryo stage and then we separate. So I mean, are we ovum or are we sperm? I mean, after that, sir, what do we visualize? After that stage?
You see both. You see the ovum lying there, and you see that the sperm separate. Okay, because you see, as per Sankhya, when the Kevalya state happens, the Mool Prakriti remains, and the Purusha remains. So you are sort of playing a flashback in reverse, going in reverse. You're running your live video in reverse, and then reaching that point where they have merged, so you're coming out. That is the freedom. That is
then what you do, sir? After that, what you do? Once you go back in flashback, you go to the conception stage.
You do nothing, because you see, by this action itself, you have already done. Because if you remember what Sankhya says, he says that anything which has come into this world has come forever, and anything which has not come will never come. So if you can think of something, then that exists in physical form also. If you can think of something, then it is existing in physical form also. So what it means is when you are thinking of this reverse and you're thinking that they have separated, you are in a way undoing what was done. So what gets undone? The first thing which gets undone is the sorrow part. And it need not be done only once. You might have to do it number of times. Any time you do it, you will have a deep experience. You'll have a very, I would say, phenomenal experience. And your after the visualization, when your eyes are open, when you're conscious, you will feel a different feeling. You will not feel the same way as you were feeling earlier, you know. This is exactly what I want you to experience and give a feedback. See what is happening to you while you're doing this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So we meditate and then again discuss again, right?
Yes, yes. So, I will put you into meditation in a very simple way. And then I will say that's all. And then we can come back and discuss as to what has been our experience. Okay. Yeah, so you may please be seated in a very comfortable position. You could sit on a chair, a sofa, a bed, wherever you are comfortable. Close your eyes and be in a place where you cannot be disturbed for the next 10-15 minutes. And in that comfortable position, imagine that you are growing young and you are going back into your mother's womb, and you are going further back into the time when your mother's ovum got fertilized, and you're going further back in time when the two of them, the sperm and the ovum, are separated. You may please start your visualization, meditation now. That's all.
Wonderful experience.
This is your first point of existence where you went and you disengaged.
I have a small doubt there. When I was going back, I could, of course, imagine my childhood, my college, my all in reverse direction, and then my mother and myself as a very small boy. After that, I can only imagine myself as a sperm and then go vanish somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
you see, I have had this experience 3 times, or rather 4 times,
yeah,
and
okay.
and I have been meditating for 17 years. I have never meditated anything like this. Okay.
So even for me, it was a good realization. I have also done many types of meditation. They all have been good. but this was the best so far. And something really which we can do again and again all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, other meditations, somehow I find some of them difficult to repeat because the other meditations disturb the procedure, or other meditation exist side by side. It's difficult to ignore other things and then come back to the meditation which I was doing. This one we can do stick on to all the time, I think.
You can do it in sleep, and my experience, it happened to me two nights. I got up at 3 o'clock and there was a tingling sensation all over my body, a pleasant tingling sensation. I was in a different state of body. It was blissful.
No, that was while you were meditating or some other time.
No,
You don't
you
know.
see, I had gone to sleep, and while going to sleep, I had imagined this. I got up around about 3 in the night.
Right. Okay.
I felt as if there is no exertion in my body. It is a beautiful feeling, happy feeling, blissful feeling, tingling up the spine. And I was feeling as if I have found a process. What process? When you reach that beginning point, you bring in any thought there. You will feel as if that thought is executing itself and coming out at the other end as a manifestation. You will feel you can do anything you want. As I use the word womb of creation, you are at the womb of creation. You are putting thing there at one end, and at the other end of the world, it is coming out. You know?
I didn't get that point, Sanjay ji.
I'm
You
saying
said,
that
yeah, okay.
I'm
At which stage
saying,
we insert a thought? Yeah.
you see, it is like a pipe which is going through 4 stages, 4 sections, right? First is the
Okay.
ovum stage, then is the fertilized ovum, then is the growing till birth, and then you are on the world outside growing the mind.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
So now at the beginning stage, if you are, say, having sperm A and ovum B, now if you have separated that, so there is a vacuum
Yeah.
there. Now you can put sperm D and ovum F, let's say, for example. So you are able to bring into creation something else altogether, something new is coming. So if you have something in mind, you have to create this in life, you just put that thought there, and you will feel as if that thought is rolling down that pipe of 4 sections and coming out into the world at the far end as real. This is the feeling I was getting. And the morning when I went to Snehalaya, there were a lot of things pending, but my mind was very clear. I have to put it at the cause, at the beginning, and it will roll out. I need not bother about how it is rolling out. That is the way the pipe will flow. It will roll out. And that is the way it happened. You see,
So that means at that stage of meditation, you just insert whatever goal or idea you have in mind, and then imagine that it is happening in the present form.
Yes,
in a conscious form.
Yes, even if you're not imagining, it will happen. You see,
okay.
Yeah, it will start rolling down time. It will start rolling down, and it will take birth. It will come out in the physical world, and it will be there. And another thing which is needed is, say, today you immediately after stopping that meditation, you were sharing your experiences. I would suggest don't come out of it abruptly that way. Hang around there with that ambience, with that environment, with that feeling. Be there.
Okay.
Be there. And then you will see vacuum all around you. You will see that womb of creation around you. And anything you're putting there will roll out.
Okay, I will do it. Sure.
Anybody else?
That's a
Anybody else would like to share? Or whatever happened, it need not be exactly the way which we are saying. It could be nothing also for you. Let me just close this thing.
Yeah, screen.
Hmm. So let me first of all save it and then stop this share. Okay, and then let us come into gallery view. Yes. Yeah, Anshuman, would you like to share?
Sir, my experience was a bit different.
Okay.
And actually, as my previous question, after going and separating the sperm and ovum, that time I was a bit confused. Actually, sir, I also follow the Vedantic philosophy, and I am not an exclusive or dedicated Sankhya yogi. So I wanted to go back to the previous life and back and back and back and to the inception. So at that point in time, when this life came to the beginning, after that, I was clueless what is to be done.
Okay. Fine. So, in my viewpoint, okay, there could be a possibility that there is only one life. Because, as you said, why am I not going into the past life? So you were feeling lost. And this is what tends to agree with modern science also, because they are not agreeing to the transmigration of the Chitta. Okay. And the transmigration of the Chitta theory is only in Sankhya. And from Sankhya, everybody seems to have taken it. Be they the Buddhists, the Jains, the Sikhs, everybody seems to have taken it from Sankhya, because Sankhya is the first organized philosophy. But if you just leave that portion out, if you just consider that life is beginning at that point and life is ending at death, the physical death, then it gives you a new dimension altogether to this life. Let us not get into the past life at this stage, because it can be a bit ambiguous. It can be a bit some people will say unscientific, because there is not yet sufficient proof for it. But I am just simply looking at it as it starts and as it finishes. That interval, it is like going to a movie. The movie starts and the movie ends.
But sir, there is something, I think when the movie starts, there is a kind of a prequel or part one, or a cosmic drama. So the point, sir, which I'm trying to say is that, sir, that while the science, where science ends, yogic science begins. And it's very deep, and our ancient Rishi Munis and Kapil Muni and our Patanjali, I think, sir, it's quite deep, saying that, sir, there's no karma or reincarnation. We'll have to go back to some, as experience, our mind is limited. We have to go beyond that mind to actually decipher the true essence of what is our origin.
No, that could be right. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is that you just look at it as from the point of birth to the point of death, or from the point of fertilization, or just before fertilization till the point of death. The finishing of the body, the burning of the body for us Hindus,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm still not talking about the transmigration, because in this particular episode of meditation or visualization, you are experiencing your current life from point A to point B. Point B
Yes,
means
yes.
wherever you are today, and you're going back to the origin as much as you can.
Sir,
And
what this exercise can do for us is that that inner child, or the it can purify our lot of dirt or noise or notions which have been programmed to us throughout the journey. Once we go back to the nascent stage, we are in the pure eternal bliss form. So in that way, it can be purifying, sir.
yes, yes, you see, you will experience this when you are doing it number of times. You will experience this. You will experience a smoothness in your life. You will experience a smoothness in your thinking. You will experience a definiteness in what you're doing, because now you know the cause and effect connection so deeply, and uh, it has to be experienced. You see, and in my case, today's been the fourth day. Your case, it is the first probably 1 hour, 2 hours that you have listened to this concept and you have experienced it. Do it more number of times. Do it 2 times a day, 3 times a day. Do it in the afternoon while you are going for a nap. You will find a perceptible change. You will find a calmness in the mind. You will find your mind behaving in a different way. You will find certain pressure points in the mind which are different from what you have experienced earlier. It is definitely a different experience. And what happens is, you see, whatever you imagine turns into reality. So when you are imagining in a way that you're going back to the beginning point, I think it is like, peeling the onion by one layer. And then you do it again the second time, the third time, the fourth time. So you are peeling your onion layer again and again. And then eventually you will end up with nothingness, because the path will be so purified, your beginning will be so purified, that you will automatically experience that liberation, that freedom. All the past will be washed away, will go away. That is what I feel will happen, and that is why I shared today with you all. And just to find out what are your individual experiences like, what are you also seeing?
So
I have one
since from
question.
what you both were talking, yourself and Anshumanji, I feel like commenting that see, past births are immaterial because all the solution lies in current birth. Whatever happened in the past birth or karmas or whatever was there, that can be rectified straight away just like that. All the solutions we have to find in this birth only. So we can do this meditation and go about it.
So
It
I
has to
will,
go away on its own.
I will,
It won't linger on.
I will tell you a technique which is used by. It was given by Tony Robbins in his book, the first book, The Giant Within.
Sir,
It is,
awaken the giant within.
sorry, Awaken the Giant Within, yes. It is even given by Master Choa Kok Sui in his pranic healing techniques. It is used by, as I said earlier, by people who heal you through taking you back into the mind, either by hypnosis or by any other method. You see, what happens is when you are going back in the mind and cleaning up something, so you are removing the trace of it. And when you come back in today's time, in today's presence, that past has been cleaned up by you by your going into the past. We can travel in time, we can travel in past and future. And so you are able to do that. And when you are able to go, say, 10 years into your youth, or say 20, 25 years into your childhood, then you are bringing about a change there. Now here you are going to the very beginning of your beginning, and there you are bringing about a change. And not only that, how do you explain the siddhis of a yogi? So here, supposing you go back to the 0 point and you imagine, you sow the seed, that you are born of a sperm of a man who can fly. So then, if you are able to hold on to that belief, it is likely that you will develop that ability to fly. You might start flying one day. Because the mind is so subtle at that stage that whatever you are sowing at that point will turn into a physical reality one day or the other. So the subtle will turn into gross. The sattvic will turn into rajasic and tamasic. So that is the way it is flowing. It is happening automatically. That is the nature of the mind. That is the nature of Prakriti. So I think this is probably how they were able to do it. Because we are feeling a substantial change in our own self. So probably if you fine-tune this process, do it more and more, then you will be able to get those siddhis.
Sir, I would rather suggest or request you for a variation wherein you go back to the future also, and then
Back to the future.
I mean, you plant the seed and see the visualization happening in the future. So like you are going to the root, but then currently our root is what we are right now. So I mean, going to the future also, will that help?
You see, it is the one and the same thing. Because cause and effect are connected. Cause is creating the effect. And he says in the cause is part of the effect, which is Satkareva. So what it means is in the effect is part of the cause. So whether you go from left to right or you go from right to left, they are all connected. It's like a bead. It's like a necklace of beads. Okay, time is interconnected. The future, what is going to happen will bring about the present. Or the past, what has happened will bring about the present. So both ways you reach to the present. Are you able to get me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can come both ways, past to present or future to present.
But sir, we don't have clarity about the future. So
You
how
have
can
you have clarity. You decide what you want to become in your future. You will only become that in your future which you are thinking today. So today is the cause, tomorrow is the effect. Unless and until you are not allowing other causes and effects to play their role.
No, but for being a
For?
No, but for being a strong person today,
Hmm.
do we have to remove any past impressions or past feelings of our incapabilities? Do we have to take any step today?
No.
For that, you may have to go back in past.
I'll tell you. See, you have to understand two things. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up that diagram again. Yeah, I can. Okay. Now say you're operating in this zone. Uh, okay. Say you're operating in this zone. Okay. This zone. This zone already has thoughts because you are conscious. You are thinking. So it is not blank. There are thoughts here. And these thoughts are based on reasoning, logic, analysis, judgment. And if you go deep, then here also you have sort of, well, let me bring it up in a different way. Say if you're looking at this region, okay, here again you have thoughts. So you have to keep on going back till you reach the earlier stage. Unless you reach the earlier stage, there will always be thoughts. And if you are trying to manifest something of your thought, there are other thoughts already present at random at times. So you are not getting exactly what you want. But if you are able to go back to the starting point, and where you have realized that this is the starting point, you have convinced yourself that this is the starting point. And there, if you're putting a thought, that is becoming the primary seed, the only seed, and that will start manifesting, but not in full power, in some power. It will start, it will come about. And then you have to hold on to it, It is like a baby. The baby keeps on growing, and the mother is holding on to the baby. She's not letting it go. So similarly, you have to hold on to your thought, nurture it, take care of it, and it will slowly keep on expanding. And it will take shape. It will become physical. It will be visible to everybody outside. Is this clear?
Yes, but if we start from today's position,
Huh.
we are starting with all the thoughts combined together, our beliefs, our memories, along with everything else. We are starting toward future. So will that be a correct route to follow, as we were discussing with Anshumanji earlier?
You have no choice. You have no choice. You see, if you look at this diagram again, okay, what are you conscious about? You are conscious about your knowledge, and you are conscious about essentially knowledge, right knowledge, wrong knowledge. What is there in your subconscious mind? In your subconscious mind is memory and imagination. What is there in your unconscious?
Also belief and lack of belief, which can be somehow removed by going into past.
I'm coming to it. Okay. And what is there in your unconscious mind? Unconscious mind is sleep. So when you look at the 5 vrittis which Patanjali has given, he says right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imagination, memory, and sleep. So he's slowly taking you inside. Key first is knowledge, which is popping out of the subconscious mind. Second in the subconscious mind is memory and imagination, which again is popping out. How is the knowledge coming? Knowledge is coming out of the sense organs. Where is that knowledge going? That knowledge is becoming memory. Where is imagination coming from? Imagination is coming from memory. And where is sleep coming from? Sleep is coming from deeper in the 3rd stage of the mind. So he says these are the modifications of the mind. They have to be stopped. They have to be removed. So how do you remove them? You remove them by cleaning them, by purifying them, by not thinking of any knowledge, right or wrong, by not having any memory, by not having any imagination. So then there's no modification. You are just there. And you are talking about manifestation. How do I manifest something? When I already have knowledge, when I already have beliefs, when I already have memory, when I have imagination, when there is sleep working, then how do I manifest? To manifest, you have to clean up that place first. If I have to sow a seed, a mango seed in the soil, I have to clean up that soil and then dig and then put the seed inside and then cover it up with the right kind of soil, ensure protection, and then only the mango plant will come. And then only after adequate protection, over certain more years, mango fruits will come. The sequence will be complete. So similarly,
I understand. I understand. What you are saying is eliminate all the negative and unrequired thoughts and beliefs.
Yeah, because then they will also manifest if you're energizing them.
Sir, I have a point, sir, here. Hello.
हाँ बोलो भाई.
Sir, मैं कह रहा था कि sir, because sir, there are a lot of mental grooves or our memories. Like even when we are going back, sir, we were going in a discrete manner. When we were young or when we were 5-year-old, and then there was a gap, and then we could visualize. So basically, sir, we were visualizing our positions in different points in time. But so, through this exercise, sir, can we eliminate our, I think, kind of wrong beliefs or our limitations or our conditioning of so many years? Or is it possible, sir?
I will tell you what I am doing. Okay. When I realized that I could go back to the beginning point, so my choice was now what do I want to imagine? Right? When I have been able to come out of that ovum and out of that sperm, what do I want to imagine? So after 2 days, my imagination went that I am coming out of the sperm of Shiva and the ovum of Kali. Okay, so why this? Because then it gives me a powerful start in life. I'm not the output of my father and my mother immediately, physical father, physical mother, who have their natural limitations, but I am son of Shiva and son of Kali. Okay. Now, if I'm able to hold on to this kind of a belief, this kind of mental conditioning, then the cause and effect will run. Then it will give me some higher level of confidence, energy, powers. It will automatically manifest. So we become what we think. That is a commonly said statement. So if I can change my thinking at the very beginning of my life, I am then sort of upscaling my life. And what can be a better method than this? What can be the best method than this? Are you there, Anshuman?
Yes, sir, I am contemplating.
Yeah. So supposing you wanted to be a CEO of a world's leading company. Okay, say for instance Google. So you can do that planning, do that implant, be that sperm, be that seed, and then you will feel your thinking has changed. You will feel your aspirations have changed. You will feel your thinking abilities have changed. Your execution abilities has changed. Your concentration is at a different level. You can see things different from what your people around you are seeing now. And you will feel so confident inside, as if nothing is impossible for you. Anything can be done because you have understood the science. You can go to the very beginning and change anything which you want to change. If there is any mistake happening, no issues. You go back and change. That's all.
Sir, it is not a time machine, no, sir. We are not going back in time. We are just visualizing. I mean, we can't change anything, sir. What has happened in the last so many years in our life? I mean, how can we change, sir?
Okay. Okay. I will ask you to do an experiment here. Do you have any moment in your life when you felt angry about anybody, and that memory is still there?
Sir, I know memory can be reframed cognitively. I got the point, sir. My point is that can we go back in time and change things?
Yes. When you are going back in memory, you're going back in time.
And sir, if you change something, will the effect will also change in the current present?
Yes. That is what I wanted to prove to you. If you're feeling anger towards anybody, I would have told you to do this experiment and the anger would have gone today. You were feeling angry about him 10 minutes back, and you went back into the past and did some change, and you come back here into the future today, and you will find the anger is gone. You see, we have to understand our minds are very powerful entities. We become what we think. I repeat, we become what we think. So when you are thinking anything now, there's a problem because there's already so much of thought around you that that thinking is not having an impact, powerful impact. But when you are going back to the beginning point and doing some rethinking there, there is no other thought there. So you are able to bring about a causative change, a causal change at that point. And then it will have an immediate impact on you today. Because you have gone into the past like a time machine and changed the cause, you will feel the change now.
Sir, point taken. Thank you for the explanation. I got it.
It is very powerful. Let me tell you that. Our basic problem happens that we are in a cloud of thoughts, because of which we are unable to just germinate one thought, one particular seed which we want. But here, once when you are practicing to go back and be alone and be there in that cavity, be there in that empty space where life is getting formed. That's the birth of life. So that life will last for about 70, 80, 100 years outside. And that life will last for about 9 months inside. And that life will force its way out. So when you are able to reach that state, you will realize that this human life has a power which is subconscious. It will be there always. All that you have to do is intentionally, consciously give it a thought. It will take that thought and move ahead. It is something like having a car with an engine on, with full fuel, with a driver waiting outside your door. If you walk into that car and tell the driver, take me to such and such mall, it will take you there. So this body is like that car with a driver waiting to follow your instructions. It already has a power. The air you are breathing in is power. The food you're eating is power. The thoughts that you are nourishing is power. Either power which is adding on, empowering, or disempowering. So there is a mechanism which is running. Your body is running. Breathing is running. Digestion is running. Circulation is running. Reproductive organs are working. Every system is working full speed. Only when you give it an intentional thought, it takes you in that direction. So similarly, when you have this mechanism, you go to the starting point of that mechanism and you put in a thought, and it will roll out with full power of the body and will manifest at the other end. That is what I am telling you. That is why this exercise has got tremendous power. It is not only going back which is important, it is going back and doing the change which is important. You must feel as if you have a cannon. You have gone to the beginning of the cannon and you're putting a cannonball there. And there's a firing mechanism which will fire automatically and that cannon will go and that cannonball will go. So if you put whatever cannonball you want to put based on your thought, you can put there. It will go. So similarly, whatever thought you put there will go out of your body, will go into the physical world and manifest. Are you getting me? ऊपर से जा रहा लगता है.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Point taken. Sir, you have taken it to the next level by going back and changing. I think that can be transformation.
It is phenomenal, boss. I have not been able to sleep over the past 2-3 nights. This is phenomenal, and I've been trying it in my life, and I'm seeing unbelievable results. And I get a strong feeling this is what Sankhya means. This is the liberation he's talking about. Liberation of the mind. Mind getting stuck. This is what I am. I can't do anything about it. He says, no, come back. Get liberated. And now you're free to do what you want. Anyway, any other questions or can we close? We have had a long session today. Yeah, can we close?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
I'm done. Thank you. Thank you very much for a very good time today.
Yeah.
Maybe others have some questions. Madam was saying something.
Who has questions?
No, I heard something like somebody has.
सीमा जी आपको क्वेश्चन है क्या?
सर अभी तो नहीं है, नेक्स्ट संडे पूछूंगी, कुछ दिमाग में तो आया है.
अब नेक्स्ट संडे तक वो मैनिफेस्ट हो जाएगा.
नहीं सर.
चलिए ठीक है फिर. So let's close by.
Good day all of you.